You know what it is, it's Coates in the Cut, and today we're going to be breaking down the new Little Simz album, Lotus. Now, before we even get into her music, I also want to describe how I got into Little Simz music, which I think is important, because Simz isn't another UK rapper to me. I got into her music back when I first heard Grey Area. That album hit different. The honesty, the control, the lyricism. It felt like someone speaking with full presence, no ego, no noise, just truth. From that point on, I was locked in, and as far as I'm concerned, Simz is the best UK rapper right now. Full stop. Not the flashiest, not the loudest, but the most complete. So now we've got Lotus, her latest drop. Let's break it down. Right from the start, Lotus tells you this isn't about trends. It's not about chasing TikTok or Billboard or anyone's approval. It opens with Thief, this haunted strip back guitar and dusty drums. She's talking about energy, theft, betrayal, therapy that she's obviously engaged with. With a little bit of context is she recently fell out with old producer of hers, Inflow. I think she could be referencing that within the song. She's confronting what's been draining her, and her production gives you space to feel that. The whole project plays like a slow unraveling. You get jazz, Afrobeat, bossa nova, gospel, even some orchestral stuff as well, but it's never scattered. It's pretty smooth throughout. Some songs do start to blend in if you're not locked in, and can be a little bit lackluster, but what keeps it grounded is that voice, that clarity. Simz sounds like someone who's done this work and isn't afraid of her own silence anymore. Alright, let's talk about highlights. There are plenty of highlights throughout the track list. Flood is spiritual. It has Afrobeat pulse to it, heavy drums. It's also a little bit of a reference to Kendrick, with Keep the Family Away bar, which I really liked. Bonjier and Moonchild Sinelli, both the two features on there, bring that ancestral raw texture. It's one of the best blends of rhythm and message on the whole album. Young, another highlight on the track list for me, has a lot of UK wit and a lot of UK laced jokes. Also a little bit of jazz, clever wordplay, her reflecting on growing up while still cracking jokes at it as well, not taking her age very seriously. Some people might miss it outside of the culture, but I feel like if you know, you know. Another highlight on the album for me was Only. It gives a little bit of a summery vibe. Lydia Kito floats on the hook. Choir comes in and out like waves. It's beautiful, but not necessarily the deepest cut, I don't think, on the track list. It's more of a vibe track for me. Peace might be one of the most personal ones here. She's speaking to her 16-year-old self, sort of, I feel like. Moses Sumney enters like a spirit and adds this dreamy, almost angelic transition. I just wish he had more time on the song to sort of kind of expand his feature a little bit. Hello, another highlight. She's fed up. The verse builds with urgency. The flow sharpens, and the orchestral lift near the end is very underrated for me. Lion, this one ties her back to her African roots. The textures are clean, and when she says Lauren is in her, she feels like Lauren in her prime. It doesn't feel like a flex, but I really like that bar. She's claiming lineage, and that line's very heavy and sits quite well with me. And probably one of my favorites off the album, Blood, plays like a family voicemail that turns into a therapy session. It references her ill mum, and it's back and forth between her and her brother. The tension, the laughter, it's raw, emotional, and cinematic, and I feel like it really relates to day-to-day life, and a lot of people who listen to that song can sort of be able to relate with it. And finally, the title track, Lotus, brings it all together. Kiwanaka's vocals feel like old western soul to me. The choir, the drums, the metaphor, growing through pain, like the lotus flower blooming in the mud. I really like that, and it really ties in the whole theme of the album. This is Simz at her most introspective. She's not trying to impress, she's actually trying to process a lot of her problems and emotions that she's been dealing with, I think, recently, and all the, the thing that's been going on publicly with her old producer. The psychology on this album is mature. She's letting go of dead weight, setting boundaries, forgiving without reattaching. That's not an easy place to write from, I don't think. Lonely really hit. It's a song about isolation, the overthinking, the self-doubt, especially when you're creating from a deep space. The strings at the end, goosebumps, genuinely gave me goosebumps. And then Blue with Sampha, that's a spiritual closer, and that bar, God still loves your enemies, really resonated with me as well. That's not just about forgiveness, that's about release as well. If I had one critique for this album, it would be that it's sometimes a little bit too reserved. I don't think it's as bold as some of her previous albums, such as there's no I love you, I hate you type of eruption to it, I don't think. But that's also the point. I don't think she's in that space anymore, and she's sort of giving us a more reflective piece here. To wrap it all up, Lotus isn't a headline album, it's a healing album, and it's not trying to grab you, it's inviting you to sit and listen to it, I think. And Simz doesn't force the message, she just is the message to me. To me, this is another step in her journey, not a peak, but a solid and a grown-ass chapter, I think. And she's taken a lot of steps since her last albums and drops that she has put recently. Let me know your take. What track sat with you the most, and do you think Simz is evolving, or is she playing it safe at the moment? You already know the vibe. Stay grounded, stay in the cut.